Hey, what's up, everybody? It's your boy. Uh, I hope you guys that's watching this had a good day, uh, and everybody's having a good time. Um, yeah, so for this video, this video is for the comic book people that are out there, um, specifically the Spider-Man comic book readers. Now, I want to start off by saying that I'm much more of a DC guy than a Marvel guy. The only character I follow in Marvel is Spider Man. Okay. It's been like that for me since day one. Peter Parker. Well, actually, let me backtrack. I follow Peter and Miles. Um, I love both of those characters, and their books are the only books I get from Marvel. Uh, I think that, um, yeah, um, I think a lot of you guys can agree with me when I say that when Spider Man is written well, um, when Spider Man is written well, when he's drawn well, um, when he's written well, he is an incredibly awesome character to read about. Um, and I've been following the character since I was a kid and continue to do so. Um, so, as many of you guys may remember, um, you had, I think it was 2007, there was the whole, uh, Peter making a deal with Mephisto thing because Mephisto wanted his marriage, but really that was because of Joe Quesada not wanting Peter to be married, so he made that story. Um, the story is terrible, and there was a part of me back in the day when I read it that didn't like, what was going on and what the purpose of it was, but I'm one of those comic readers that tends to be a little bit I tend to be a little bit more forgiving. I tend to be a little bit more lenient. I just care about reading comics. If the story, whether or not the stories are good or terrible, I just want to read comics. And some people would say, well, okay, what Peter did was blasphemy. What he did, selling his marriage, with MJ to Mephisto to save Aunt May. And then some people think, hey, well, um, a lot of Spider-Man fans would say that Aunt May uh, outlived her usefulness a long time ago. There's that storyline where she revealed to Peter, I forgot the name, I forgot the number of the issue. I think it was Spectacular 200 or something like that. Maybe you guys in the comments can correct me, but that storyline where I think it was an annual where Aunt May revealed to Peter that she knew for years that he was Spider-Man, but she kept it to herself. And then, of course, later on, it was retconned, that it was actually uh, I think an actress with makeup that Norman hired or something to f around with Peter. But I remember reading that and being blown away. I read that annual a couple years ago now, but I remember very much liking it. And so yeah, fast. Then you had the whole brand new day era. A lot of those issues were hit and miss. You had the whole Dan Slott thing. My problem with Dan Slott wasn't necessarily how he wrote the characters, how he wrote Peter. My issue with him tended to be some of his stories would kind of end in a thud. Like there'd be all this hype about a new storyline that he was sending our way with Peter, and it would kind of end with a thud. It wouldn't. His stories wouldn't always end on necessarily a good note, you know. But yeah, so the real meat and potatoes of what I wanted to talk about uh, with Spider-Man, this video, was that if you guys remember, I guess I want to talk about the Nick Spencer run. Um, for you guys that read that series, that whole two, I think it was 2.5 years of Nick Spencer on the book, he introduced the character of Kindred. Now, I very, very much liked in the beginning the implementation of Kindred. I think Kindred was a fantastic, again, in the beginning, I thought Kindred was a fantastic, fantastic, creepy ass character. Um, there was a lot of speculation, man. There was a lot of speculation. And you guys that may be watching this, you know what I'm talking about. There was a lot of speculation about who that character was and what did that character want. Um, there were a lot of theories, man. There was a lot of theories going around. Some people said it was a clone of another clone of Peter or something. No, no, rather it was. Some people said it was the pre pre brand new day Peter, which I think would have been awesome. I think that would have been another. I think that would have been cool. But maybe Marvel and Nick Spencer felt like, technically it would have been another clone or something. I don't know, but I would have liked that. Um, then there was the group of people that, like me, felt that it was probably Gwen. That it was some twisted, evil version of Gwen. The problem was with the way Kindred was drawn, it was obviously a male body. So that kind of went by the wayside. And then some people thought it was the people that thought it was Harry from, I think the pre Brand New Day era, they were right, and that the Harry that we saw was a clone, you know, and it went on and on and on, and Kindred were talking riddles and whatnot, and he came across as menacing. Kindred came across as menacing, and when Peter finally, when they started actually finally throwing blows after so long, it was kind of, it was crazy. It was a ride, but then something happened. Something happened. I think what happened was Nick Spencer wanted Kindred to really be the pre-Brand New Day Harry Osborn. But then something happened with editorial where they said, look, we want your run to end. You're going to have to condense this and you're going to have to finish it. So towards the end, it became a mess. It became an absolute, absolute mess where I think even to this day, a year and a half later after his run is over or something like that, I think it's been a year now. It's just been, uh, it, they were clones of the Stacy kids, uh, those children that Gwen had in that storyline with Norman. That they were clones. Kindred was two people, and they turned out to be the clones of those two characters or something like that. It was just for you guys that read that, it's been a while for me, so my memory's kind of rusty. But I'm just trying to go from what I remember, and but the gist of it was, it turned out to be the whole Kindred thing for all that time, and the final official reveal after the Harry thing was retconned. It was a mess. It was such a letdown, and you could tell that Nick Spencer wanted to make Kindred the new A-list villain for Spider-Man. You could tell that's what he wanted to do. Um, but it fell on his face. But you can't necessarily blame him per se, because on one hand he took a long time to get it done, to get the reveal moving with some momentum. But then on the other hand, when he finally tried to reveal everything, editorial stepped in. Instead of letting him do his thing at his pace, they stepped in. You know, so it was just a letdown, and there were people online at the time that were, some of the cats online in the forums at the Spider-Man crawl space. I think on the crawl space and comic book resources, there was specifically comic book resources rather. There were a lot of people complaining, and I could understand what they were saying. They were complaining about that every issue, you could read every issue once the Kindred stuff started really popping. Every issue it went by too fast, and then we had to wait another month for another issue, and it was just taking too long, yada yada. Then you had the whole, before the fight with Peter and Kindred, you had the whole um, that villain the whole that villain that was going after people for their sin, the Sin Eater. You had that whole thing going on, and I didn't mind it. I just looked at it as, okay, he's working for Kindred, he's serving a purpose, and he's basically Kindred's subordinate, you know. But you talk about a letdown, man. The whole Kindred thing was fun at first, and then Marvel effed it up. Marvel just, you guys over there, Marvel, you editorial effed up the whole Kindred thing. It could have been so awesome. So now you have the John Romita run, and that run has been, in my opinion at least, there's a lot of people. Yeah, there's a lot of people that like the run. There's this one guy I'm subscribed to. I'm not going to say his name, but he's been having issues with it. I don't know how, but he's been having issues with the Amazing Run now. But I think it's been great. It kind of feels like a back to basics, street level type thing, and the first storyline with that was with Tombstone, and that was good. And now you have the whole thing of, Norman trying to be a good guy, but he's gonna fall in his face at some point, and yeah, so it's been fun, and there's been no mention whatsoever, of the whole Kindred thing. They, Ramita, or rather, Zeb Wells hasn't brought up anything from the Nick Spencer run. I think they just kind of want to forget about it and move on, and never really bring it up again. Maybe Kindred will come back in the future as a new form, a form that makes sense, but I doubt it. I think the whole Kindred thing was a really dragged out missed opportunity. But yeah, again, I'm loving the books now, and the Amazing Book now, and with Miles, I don't tend to buy his single floppies, or his single issues digital rather. I tend to buy his trade paperbacks and read his issues every week, and really take my time with his paperbacks. But yeah, Peter and Miles are my guys, and they're the only two guys out whose books I get from Marvel. DC, I get everything. I'm subscribed to the DC Universe app, and they tweaked it now with the whole ultra tier, and yeah, I'm always reading DC books, man. I'm a DC guy at heart. It's in my blood, but I'm never gonna get rid of Spider-Man. So anyway, that's all I wanted to say for this video, guys. And let me know what you think. And if you agree with me or disagree on the whole Nick Spencer Kindred thing, and just let me know. Either way, catch you later.